All right, what's up? So this is update on the Landau 1470. I have got this thing painted. I used Duralux aluminum, I think it's aluminum boat green. It turned out fantastic. I can't be happier with how quick it dries, how well it covers. I ended up spraying it. A lot of guys were saying don't thin it, and the manufacturer says don't thin it. Actually, I haven't seen too many people say they had trouble with thinning it. So it was a dry day, the sun is out, so here it is. I thinned it about not quite 50-50, probably like 75-25, so just enough to get it to go through cup style gun with a pretty good sized nozzle. I'm gonna let it sit there for at least a day and make sure it gets cured. This stuff's supposed to get pretty hard, so we'll see what's happening. So what I'm doing now is finding the holes that I pre-drilled in the floor panels on the backside, pushing through one of these T-pins. You can see that. Push that through like that. It's that one I already had covered up. Find it with the tack. It's hard to do with one hand. Find it with the tack, push the tack in, tape it up. There's my T-pin. I'm finding all my holes like that and marking them right now because I've got the boat pretty much ready for the panels. So I spent the day yesterday installing all the foam, running all of the wiring. Got the trolling motor wiring going around the right side of the boat. I've got the power and the transducer connections for the hook 4X, which I have. The transducer runs down the left side solo, and then this is for my front navigation light, and then I've got the battery box pretty much completed. So this is the Blue Sea 6-circuit fuse panel. You see the amp down there. This is the box that I've got my timer in, and then all the switches. So everything's wired up and it's ready for some floor panels. So pretty stoked. Even the speakers are wired up. Push this button right here. All right, let go of it. Give a little bit of gas. There, right there. Right there. This is the last installation of my Jon Boat to Bass Boat rebuild, and I think it turned out pretty well. So I'm gonna go through and kind of review all the details and give you an idea of what I did. So this is the front deck area. I've got two hatches long hatches. This one has both my nav lights mounted to the bottom side, and most of the stuff that I may need to get to, like docking rope, paddle. That's where I keep all the life jackets, dry box. This is the battery hatch, and that has the amplifier for the stereo, the fuse panel. It's the back side of the switches, which are right here. The timer for my aerator, which is built from a 12-volt timer that I got off of Amazon. I've got a direct connection to the trolling motor, and there's a direct connection under the lid to the fuse panel, and then the starter wires come up from the back side. And it's strapped down in place with a ratchet strap. There's a seat post base. I don't know if I'll even use it, but I wanted to put something in case I ever did put like a leaning post, you know, like a butt seat. I fished last weekend, and I don't know if I'll even probably use that type of seat up front, but it'll be nice to have the opportunity or the option. So here's the front hatch. Got the longer anchor rope in here, a buoy, had my net in there, I think. No, fire extinguisher. I think the net is in the other long one. So the long one over here, of course, you can't get to it when the trolling motor is stowed. So I kind of put mostly just fishing stuff in there, like the scale and the net, just other stuff like that. Things that I know I'll want to get to only when I've got the trolling motor out. The other thing is my recessed trolling tray was awesome. I basically just stayed either on that side or this side right here, and when the lower unit is pointed straight ahead, this has just a little bit of angle upward. That's perfect. So if you need to adjust your speed, you just kind of put the ball of your foot right here, and you can rotate your foot this way to go down or up, down. So you just kind of, like if you were putting out a cigarette on the ground pretty much, and it works perfectly. That's why I went so deep, is because I wanted it as flush as I could get it to the deck. And then also, if I decide that I don't like it that low, then I can put some spacers in there and bring it up. But I wanted to try it out as low as possible to see how much I liked it. Of course, the speakers, listen to the stereo going full speed across the lake, and which was 28 miles an hour still. This thing actually did really well. So the previous build had a lot of wood, 2x4s, plywood, and 1x2s. So I weighed everything that came out and weighed all the frame that went in, all this decking and carpet, the speakers, the amp, these new seat posts and the bases, and it still came out about 35 pounds lighter overall. And by putting the battery up in the front, it really kind of leveled the boat out with the way it sits in the water. I got my little tackle webs over there. That thing was pretty handy. It was nice to throw a couple of bag of worms in there, throw my phone in there, a couple of things that I just wanted to keep handy but didn't want in the way. So that turned out nice. The seat posts held up great. Carpet was good. The motor was running great. I ended up rewiring all the starter cables because it had 8-gauge cables on here, and they were as old as the outboard. So I rewired with 4-gauge, and that goes down to the posts back here on the back, which, you know, have covers, and I've got some of that Flexo PET. This one is, I think this one's called like Remix or something. That's what I made rod sleeves out of, and I had just enough of it to cover those starter cables. So looks pretty good. So this is the 800 gallon per hour bilge pump that I've got running up over here to the side. That's where the outlet is. I had to put a new kill switch on here because this one got completely broken off at one point. So I got this one. It's an aftermarket one, and put it on the panel that I keep my hardline tack on, and it works out pretty good. So got a good kill switch. It's got the push to kill also, and you can wire it 2 different ways. The way I wire it is a normally open. That's how this engine needs it. Got the jack plate, had it set up pretty high. I think based on the last setting, I don't know if you could see, yeah, you could see that mark right there. So it's about where I had it the last time. It did great. So with the weight in the front, it jumped up on plane is at least as good or faster than it used to. There we go. So the boat decal, it's kind of hard to see. a perfect recreation of the original Landau sticker. I'll put a picture up showing the old one and the new ones that the guy did for me. Mark at the Vinyl Approach. You could find it on that one you can't really see, but I'll put a picture up. But the guy did a great job, man. I sent a picture and he recreated it in 3 colors of vinyl, and it just went on perfect and it looks awesome. Got my old boat looking like brand new. I made a little platform back here, and that's where my gas tank sits. So I just took some scrap plywood and carpet and just made something real quick so it sits right here and doesn't hang off. So it turned out pretty good. I've still got to put my Bimini hardware back on, and a couple of clip loops, and then I've got a 9-foot stick-it pole that I'm going to try to probably put on this side, I think. Got the Super Stick. It's a 9-foot one. I can always cut it down, but I just installed the mounts for it. But one thing I did is got some Velcro wrap, put it through with the screw for the mount, and wrap that up. That way I can just stow this just like that, go down the road, not have to worry about it bouncing out. If it does come out, it's not going to come out of the boat, but I doubt it. These things are, those clamps are super tight. I mean, I'm pulling on it pretty good right now. But that's how I got it right now. So there she is, the Jon Boat in all her glory. So if you have any comments or questions, let me know. I'd be glad to help. This was fun. I didn't really mean to do an entire rebuild, but it is what it is. So now should have some pretty good times with the family. All right, bye-bye. Peace out.